Welcome to the Nagual Zone. I'm Anaam. Today we are going to discuss something that is very useful. I'll give you a principle and a guideline that's going to prove very useful to you. And what I mean by that is, along the journey from being completely brainwashed and asleep, and then slowly starting to realize what kind of world one lives in, or waking up to some manner of spirituality within oneself, a very common question starts to arise. And I'm not talking about beginners. The beginners in that stage, they're concerned with meditations and connecting with the unicorns or meditations, right? I sit and meditate every day. Eventually, because this meditation is a huge earning industry. So obviously these meditations don't really work long term. They just keep you in a hamster wheel, thinking that you're getting somewhere. You're really not getting somewhere. Meditation won't give you anything. It really won't. My chakras are now opening. My heart chakra has now opened and light is beaming out, and my head light is coming on, and third eye has become open, and all these meditations, ancient Egypt and Atlantis, and I've sold all this stuff. It's all junk. It's all junk. But go through this. You must realize that it's all junk. So go through it. You've been doing these meditations for 50 years. Do them for 50 more years. Do them next lifetime as well. Go and live in a cave. Do chanting and mantras and yoga. Do all this stuff. Really, do all of this. And eventually, one lifetime, one day, you will really see that, okay, I'm still lonely, bored, and completely self-important. You'll realize that. None of my Atlantean meditations or Isis or this or Jesus, and nothing ever changed me. Okay? At that point, the person starts to get into the power of being present. Just simple presence. And at that point is where I want to pick up, because at that point this confusion comes. So you start investing in learning how to be present. That too is a whole journey, because out of 100 peddlers of presence in the marketplace, 99 of them are scammers. They'll take your money, take your time, and you get nothing out of it. 1% of those are the real deal. And so that journey, you now know what the real deal is, how to actually be present. There's no process to it. You choose to be present. Okay? So here we have now that person arrive at a point of being very clear about being and very clear about doing. That their existence is clearly divided into two things: the art of being and the art of doing. And at that point, which happened to me, if you're fortunate enough to get a benefactor or benefactors on the Toltec path, all I can say is that all this process I described, which can take hundreds and hundreds of years, sometimes thousands of years, it can speed up incredibly within a few years. So at that point, the person will naturally ask, how much of my day, how much of my time, energy, attention is to be spent on being, invested in being? And how much of it am I gonna forget being and I have to do stuff, right? I have to go to my job, I have to talk to people, I have to do this, I have to do that. How do I balance the two? How do I navigate the two? How do I do this? So if you're at that stage where this natural question is occurring to you, okay, I can't just navel gaze all day. I can't just sit in a bench in a park all day and do nothing, because I've got to eat, I've got to pay bills, I've got to live somewhere, I've got children, wife, this, that, all the rest of it, husband, right? All the worldly concerns. So how much should I engage in the world, and how much should I engage in the art of being and cultivating presence? So here's what, don't think like that. That's the first thing I'll tell you. Don't think like that. Consider what I'm going to say instead, and you will inevitably make the right decisions every day, throughout the day, throughout your whole life. Okay? Let's be aware of the fact that in this life, or in any life, if you're existing, right, you're having experiences. Okay? If you're existing, you are creating experiences for yourself. Just the very fact of breathing, it's an experience. Blinking is an experience. It doesn't matter if you blink 5 billion times in your lifetime, each blink is an experience, right? So we can say that from birth till death, your entire life is experiences after experiences, little experiences and big experiences. Now, what the average man does, because no one teaches anyone this stuff when they are children, everyone is taught how to compete. A completely useless mythological way of living, a fantasy way of living, competing, right? So all the children's energies are diverted towards competing with each other, which then produces wars, violence, all the rest of it when they grow up, right? It started very young with them. However, if you were to be taught that instead of competing, think of your life as a series of experiences, and think of how many of them you'd like to choose, then all that energy can be put into the right context in life. Okay? So that's the first part of being clear. So here, the average man does really well. Everyone is running after experiences. Everyone is wanting new experiences, chasing after the next experience, exciting experience. Look around, you can look at yourself, you can look around you. There's nothing that anyone is actually doing apart from this, chasing experiences because of the boredom and the loneliness. Warriors learn to train themselves and learn to step out of this hellish circle of chasing experiences, and then you're dead. Got nothing to show for it except, well, I skydived and I swam with the sharks and I had 50 wives and I'm a chess grand champion, or I'm a double PhD, or I discovered the molecule of the atoms in the universe. Oh, that was just nonsense where you did and then now you're dead. Chasing experiences, running away from your loneliness and your boredom. Found my soulmate. Oh, she left me, he left me. All your dramas are experiences, right? All the pain and the hero's journey. Warriors contend that all of this is actually depleting the luminosity. It is not, it's like living a junk food life. It is not actually nourishing the spirit of the soul, chasing after one experience after the next after the next. It's not doing anything for the personal power of that person. Certainly there's no bid for freedom going on. Nothing's actually happening. It's just a hamster wheel yet again, chasing experiences. And it never ends. It's never enough. Right? It's never enough. It becomes a lifestyle of consumption. You consume people, animals, living beings, objects around you, your phone. Everything is consumed, and you relate to everything as if it's useful. It's a narcissistic way to live. What experience is this giving me? Warriors, on the other hand, and I urge you to do the same, bring in something that is vitally missing in that. Can you guess what it is? It's very simple. When I tell you, it'll make perfect sense. Warriors ask instead, what if I was to chase well-being instead of experiences? Yeah, simple, isn't it? You can live your life doing, chasing one experience after the next, and in between getting bored and lonely. Or you can shift your priorities and redefine your life to base all your decisions, all your concerns, and all your priorities on well-being. How much well-being have I cultivated this day? Have my actions, have my doings contributed to my well-being? Or have they contributed to more loneliness, more boredom, more chasing? So that the warrior can be swimming with the sharks and climbing the highest mountain or jumping off of aeroplanes. What's the use? I don't know about of all these activities. Running for 50 hours through the city, they call it a marathon. They're very proud, marathon. But why? What the hell? It's completely useless. But people do it. And it's one of the worst things you can do for your body and your health is run these marathons. Instead ask, okay, whatever I want to chase after, is this going to add to my well-being? This book I'm going to read, amazing philosophy, but is it going to add to my well-being, or is it just going to add to my well of mental junk content? What is it adding to? Scrolling on Instagram, okay, is this adding to my well-being? I scroll on Instagram, but I put a timer on my phone and I scroll for content that I can reuse for my own channel. I don't scroll idly, I just idle scrolling, hoping and wishing for, because I'm so bored. I don't do that. It's very easy to do, but I don't do that. This way, whatever decisions you make in your life, let's move in. I met this girl. She is great. Let's move in. And then we shall marry. And then we will have children. Then we shall separate. She shall go her way. I shall go my way. At the start, think, okay, nice girl, I met her. All my decisions, are they going to contribute to my well-being, or am I chasing experiences again? And then you will learn. With that in place, you will learn to make mostly correct. It's not possible to make 100% correct decisions in your life all the time. But if you get up to a very high percentage of good, healthy, correct decisions in your life, you will no longer be in confusion about who does he love me, does she love me, oh, the world and this and all the. You will be concerned with well-being, what nourishes you in actuality. And that requires practice. You have plenty of practice chasing experiences. Everyone's a Zen master when it comes to chasing experiences. You manifest all the money you want, all the resources, all the time, everything you manifest, you create it in order to chase that next experience. But when it comes to and I've verified this again and again, especially with apprentices, when it comes to well-being, there's a big struggle. Oh, I don't have the discipline. Oh, really? You've been very disciplined going on holidays every year. How'd you find the fucking money for those holidays? Go to Greece. Oh, but I don't have the discipline to sit. I find it very hard to sit still. Yeah? Well, you sit still watching Netflix for 2 hours. You sit perfectly still. How does that work then? Right? So everyone's a Zen master. Everyone's like amazing. Bruce Lee. Everyone's just incredible when it comes to chasing experiences. Legendary status. But when it comes to well-being, there's no training. There's no sense of value about it. No one's taught you to value it first and foremost above everything else in your life, including your children, wife, husband, partner, whatever it is, all your near and dear, and most importantly, you can now not put well-being over your job, which is exactly what the parasite has created, a system of slaves. How can a slave possibly be expected to put their well-being over their job? A slave who learned to do that wouldn't be a slave for very long. So you're taught from birth to compete for resources in an infinitely resourceful world, and you're taught to manage your life like a slave. Both of these practices that you are very trained in, you're an expert, you're a professional in those, they are anti-life. They don't add anything to you. You won gold medals and competed, and you big chest thumping, you MMA specialist, MMA artist, you won octagons, and what have you done? Magna cum laude, whatever it is, you've done PhD, you're proud, you competed and won out. Your priorities are not straight. No one's saying don't do this, but you cannot approach this stuff with the wrong mindset and build your whole edifice of self-importance through your personal history. There's no personal power in that. Fine, you can punch out you're a champion, you can punch people out. Great, good for you. But how are you going to punch out your loneliness? You're going to KO your loneliness in the ring. How are you going to deal with your boredom? Men and women better than you, Mr. and Miss Competition, have failed at the questions I've asked. Men better than you, people way better than you. So it's time you started thinking correctly and thinking about what is actually of real priority in life, not what the parasite that rules this world and its value systems. You got to step out of that stuff and start thinking, okay, hold on. This is all very good, but what about my well-being? What about my well-being? And the moment you start putting that above everything else, your confusion about how much time should I spend in just being, how much time should I spend in doing, it'll go away. Because now you know whatever is good for my well-being, I move towards that. Now you can start to decide with the correct criteria, right? And this is the way forward. This is the sustainable way forward. This will keep adding energy to you over time. It will prevent you from becoming, from decaying. And it will prevent you from increasing toxic living in your life. There are people, high-flying people, first-class business flights and high-flying 5-star hotels. They've got the whole lifestyle and everything. They're chasing, oh, I'm in, Acapulco, holidaying and this and that. And their Instagram is full of amazing stuff. But they haven't learned to ask, well, is this contributing to my well-being, or is this more running away from boredom and chasing after new experiences? Initially, it'll be very hard for you to know the difference because, we love to lie to ourselves and justify what we do with lovely spiritual. No, this is for my well-being. Surely lying in the sun is for my well-being. No, you got to check. Are you lying in the sun and having your martini or whatever on the beach in Jamaica, wherever it is? Is it because you're running away from boredom and chasing a new experience, or did you start out by weighing, oh yeah, this will be good for my well-being? Or is it just an instinctive decision you made, right? So there's a lot of things to consider. The concept itself is very simple. Base everything you do, everything you think, everything you say on your well-being. Forget about other people's well-beings. That is their problem, not yours. So don't go around becoming some kind of strange religious preacher about well-being or something. Be concerned with your own well-being. Just learn to master that first before preaching it to others. And live your life as if your well-being, and I shouldn't even have to use the words as if, as if your well-being is the biggest investment you can make. Every moment, every day, every year, throughout your life. Okay? So experiences versus well-being. Your experiences should fit the umbrella of well-being, not the other way around. That, oh, I'll get a little bit of well-being as well out of endless running after the next experience, right? So flip that around again and learn to live a life, a holistic life, a powerful life, and a life that is truly, actually inspirational, not only to yourself, but to others. All right. With that, leave in the comments below what you thought about this video. And if you have any times in your life where you have chosen well-being and sacrificed chasing after experiences and what the results have been for you, put in the comments below, share with everyone. I'm sure it'll be inspiring to everyone. On that note, walk in freedom. Farewell.